Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers, and welcome to the Read Along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and today we're talking about The Light of the Midnight Stars by Rena Rossner. We're back.
All right, we're here. Part 2. Well, no, part 6. Part 2 of week 3. How dare you get in my head like that?
I know, sorry.
Part 6.
The epigraph is, we're getting ready for a wedding.
Yay!
That's all I have to say about that. All right, Sarah.
Yeah. Wedding
preparations.
Yep, Sarah. Here we go.
Yeah.
Sarah's super pumped. She's making the veil for Hannah, and she's putting her entire little weaver soul into it.
She really is.
Getting all creative with the wordplay. And like making it planty because Hannah's all planty.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm very proud of her. Because she's practicing her magic. She's putting aside the, she's making something else for Gavriel, and I can't think of what it's called now, but like a shawl kind of thing for him.
Yes.
What is that word?
The word escapes me. I think it's an S word. Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it was a T word.
Oh.
Hold on. The tallet.
There we go.
She is making a tallet for Gavriel. She's putting that aside so she can work on this veil. And, she is weaving her little heart and soul into this, just like she's been doing for Gavriel, because the tallet is supposed to protect him, and she wants to be his shield. It's all very poetic, all very, very loving. And she likes working at home because she can actually use her magic at home. She can't do that when she's at the mill. She can't, use her prayers and words.
Right.
So. And yes, she finally admits to herself and to us that she is feeling drawn to the snake.
I'm a snake.
I'm a snake.
Sarah's a Slytherin.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I'm just...
but she is feeling very drawn to the snake. Those are...
Which makes her feel like...
Weird.
Ew, who would want to be with a snake?
Yeah. Yeah. She still doesn't love that part of her, even though she's feeling connected.
Will Gavriel still like me if I say that I'm a snake instead of being a fox?
Mm-hmm. And the answer to that question is yes. I don't think he would care. But
what a sly couple, though.
Yes.
A fox and a snake. Then they'll have a kid together, and there'll be a raccoon.
Oh gosh.
And name him Cooper.
Sly Cooper.
Sorry, that's just such a stupid joke.
For those of you that don't know, Sly Cooper is an old video game.
Oh, it's an amazing video game. It's amazing.
It's very fun. It was a great game.
I wish they would release a remaster on a current gen console. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Anyway, back to this.
Yes. Let's move on to the Levana.
The end is nigh.
Yes, she's full of dread. Which is sad, because everyone's preparing for a wedding, and she's just like, this is bad. There's something bad in the sky.
Something bad's going to happen. I think she sees the constellation for the dragon or something in the
dragon
sky.
or serpent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
she calls it both.
it's going to go well.
And she's, looking at everyone around her, and they're all full of joy, and so she just keeps to herself.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then
a wedding.
We get Hannah's chapter.
A
wedding.
Yes.
It's lovely. Lots of Jewish terminology, like a hoopah and other things. That's just the most memorable one.
Yeah.
Hoopah. It's just a fun word.
Yeah.
But they get married.
Well, okay.
I mean, they do. I'm not wrong.
No, you're right. They do. Before they get married, though, and they're planning, Abba wants them to get married in a Jewish cemetery as a way of fighting the mist, which I do not understand. And Hannah doesn't like the idea because she thinks it's a very bad omen, which...
I mean, yeah.
I agree with her.
Yeah. It's like someone getting you, tombstones for your wedding gift. I got you matching tombstones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's just the first bad omen. And the second one comes as she's walking towards her groom. There's a disturbance in the crowd because someone has fainted. And she thinks, oh, that's a bad omen. And then we find out that it's the Duchess
Jacob's mother.
who was not invited
No.
because he's a convert.
And apparently the identity of the converts is like a secret.
Yeah.
Like they don't want, like they keep it a secret for you
As protection.
because it's controversial. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't want people to know who you were before because the people from your former life might not like it. Yeah. Who's the snitch?
That's a great question.
Which one of these people identifies with a rat?
Oh my gosh.
Who's the rat?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So several times, like before the ceremony really starts, Abba asks Jakob if he wants to like pause and make sure things are okay. Does he want to wait and like check on the Duchess? And he's like, no, I don't want to wait anymore. I'm ready to marry Hannah. And so they get married.
They do. Very joyous occasion. Many dances danced, many songs sung. Hannah's on cloud 9, she's trying to forget about her now husband's mother passing out in the audience. Like, it's kind of thrown a damper on things, but she's still doing her best to enjoy her wedding day.
Yeah. She puts a little note, because this is a journal entry, of course. She puts a little note in here that as she's walking towards Jakob before the disturbance in the crowd, that this was like the last happy moment, like truly untainted happy moment. So we're being told, we've been told by Levana, we're being shown these bad omens. Now Hannah's telling us, oh, things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how.
Yes.
Well, they do get married.
They do.
They have a good night.
They light some candles in the window.
Yes, he gifts her candlesticks, really fancy candlesticks, which she lights the candles in the window, and then they do what the married couples do, and they have a wonderful evening together.
They do.
And then they fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And then they wake up to pounding on the door. And it's the Duchess herself telling Jakob that he's been bewitched by the Jewess. And she doesn't want a Jewess for her son's wife. And he needs to repent and come back home. And
he's a traitor. Yeah.
And if he doesn't, the king is going to have him executed for being a traitor. Which I'm like, I didn't realize that, like, I'm kind of in Jakob's shoes when he was like, I didn't realize it was like a traitorous act to marry the woman I loved. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, guys, it's just a wedding. Like, what the heck? It's like, well, that she's not a proper Christian wife for you. Blah blah blah. So it's just a thing. It's a thing,
and it ends with him shutting the door in her face.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to Hannah, like he should. Mm-hmm. And then he prepares, and he is going to the synagogue for the day, and he leaves.
Mm-hmm. And Hannah,
and that's where the chapter ends, and that's where the book ends. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no more.
Nothing else happens.
We're not only a third in.
Nope. This isn't just the end of Act 1 of this story. That's the vibes I'm getting anyway. But, yeah, no. Hannah is walking through the street as a blushing bride.
She's not in the streets yet.
Yeah?
No, she's,
Well, what happens next?
Okay. This is how the next section starts. Okay, so she's writing all this in her journal. After he left for synagogue to tell Abba what had happened and seek his counsel, I sat down to write these words. There's another knock at the door. I must go. And we have a break. Mm-hmm. And then What happens next is written only on my skin, recorded in the very marrow of my bones. It is too much for anyone to write and not a story I want to tell. So the knock
Yeah.
at the door was Sarah and Gavriel.
And they run out and they find like a mob that has
Yeah.
basically erected a cross, which they, I believe, nailed Jakob
I
to.
think he's tied to it.
Or is he tied to
I
it?
think he's just tied to it.
Either way, they're also stacking some kindling underneath him. So they're going Salem witch trials on this dude, and they are getting ready to burn our boy alive if he won't repent.
Yeah, and Gavriel has run off to try and get some help from Abba and the others in the synagogue. And Jakob is yelling at Sarah to take Hannah away.
And Hannah will not leave.
And Sarah's trying to drag her. I just want to say that the grief and disbelief that Hannah is feeling in this section is so well written that like it gave me goosebumps and like
It was disturbing.
made me feel awful.
Yeah. For sure. Something that you could not ever imagine happening the day after your wedding.
Yeah.
Your spouse being burned at the stake.
Because they married you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is what happens.
Yeah.
She doesn't leave until he starts to scream. And then that is when her knees give out and Sarah just starts dragging her.
And drags her to the house. To their parents' house. And this is where we're mostly seeing from Hannah's eyes Sarah kind of take control and tell Ema, we have to leave. This isn't safe for us to be here anymore. And they start packing their things. Sarah, Abba arrives with Gavriel to the house then. And they agree that they need to leave. Nagamama is missing. They've set fire to the synagogue, and
we don't know that. Barricaded.
We don't know
they
that
barricaded the synagogue.
Yes,
and I think
we don't know that
Gavriel
yet.
said
We don't know.
Gavriel did say that I think he said that he thinks they're going to set fire to it.
Right.
But it's barricaded right now, and there's people inside that can't get out, along with like all the Torahs and yeah.
Yes, and Sarah asks Gavriel to go look for Nagmama again and then stop at Hannah's house for her journal and the candlesticks. And Hannah registers that this is a huge sacrifice that she's willing to make for her because if Gavriel gets caught doing these things, it could mean his life easily. And it's a very dangerous situation. So she's very like grateful to Sarah, but also still just wrecked with grief. Gavriel returns and that's when he's like, I couldn't find Nagmama, they're going to burn the synagogue. I've said I'm going to go back and help get one of the Torahs out. And then they run into the forest.
Yeah. And I think it's the reason why, because Abba is very, very much like wanting to help with the synagogue stuff too. But Gavriel's like, no, you're our last hope.
And
like,
Ema.
You need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gavriel's like that, and like, Ema's like, you cannot leave us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the last hope we have. And because he's like the most powerful of these Solomonars in the community.
Yeah.
And then Gavriel runs off to try to save a Torah. And they run away in the forest. And everything's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Happy wedding, followed by public execution by fire.
And exile.
Into the dark forest, which is where like the mist comes from, and it's like spooky and awful, and like the branches are trying to kill you. So that's also great. But we'll get into more of that in the next section, which will be available now as you're listening. Go check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So super sad. Super, super sad. I mean, we knew that this was one of those arrangements where I had a feeling that bad things were probably going to happen because of this marriage, but I was still rooting for him, you know?
I didn't think it was going to go this bad this quickly.
Right. I thought it'd be a couple sections until anything this crazy happened.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't realize it was going to be the same chapter as the wedding when everything goes off the rails.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wow. Wowza. So yeah, I guess we'll pick it up in the next section, but till then, happy reading.
We'll talk at you next time.
Bye.
Bye.